Hi, I'm Jess, one of your registered dietitians, here for our Valentine's Day dinner Kids Cook at Home class. Today we're going to be making spaghetti and meatball cups and a frozen yogurt pie. I love cooking for Valentine's Day because it's one of the best ways to show the people you care about that you love them is through cooking. So let's cook this dinner together. Before we get started, we're going to wash our hands just like we always do before cooking. Step 1 would be to preheat the oven to 375, which I've already done. And then we're going to cook our meatballs. So we have our frozen turkey meatballs here and a baking sheet with parchment paper. And then you're going to go ahead and put 12 meatballs on your baking sheet so that we can get them in the oven and cook. You can get them nice and spread out on your pan and they're ready to go into the oven. So those meatballs are gonna be in the oven for about 16 to 20 minutes. And while they're cooking, you can have an adult help you make your pasta on the stove. And then we're also going to cut up our red pepper and our mushrooms for the sauce. Before cooking with produce, we always make sure to rinse it under water. So for our mushrooms here, I have pre-sliced mushrooms. You can carefully open them up with a parent's help. And I like to use a strainer. And you can go ahead and rinse. And then run your hands through to help get it all out. Set those aside to dry off a little bit more. And while we do that, I will rinse the peppers. So starting with our red pepper, I like to start at the top and cut straight down, leaving that core in the middle. And you're gonna get your big red pepper chunks, just like that. Keeping fingers away. To dice our peppers, we are going to grab one of our pieces and cut it into strips using a claw grip. So that means our fingers are away and kind of like your hand is in a claw. Cut it into strips like so, and then you can turn your strips and cut it into little squares, or that's called dicing it. Then you can put your diced pepper into a bowl. And move on to your other pepper pieces. Now we're gonna go ahead and chop up our mushrooms. They are pre-sliced, so we have them on the cutting board. Either a parent can do it or help you to go through this mushroom pile and chop them up smaller very carefully. So we take our knife and our other hand away and we just start chopping through the pile to get these mushroom pieces a little bit smaller so that it's nice and small in our sauce. And then as your pile spreads, you can put your knife to the side and remake your pile. Now that our mushrooms are as small as we want them to be, you can choose whether you want them bigger or smaller. We can go ahead and put them into our bowl as well. Now that our veggies are all cut up and ready to go, we can go ahead and grab our tomato, basil, sauce and measure that out. We are gonna measure out 1.5 cups. You can use your wet measure and just pour it on in. If you get level with your wet measure, you can tell better how full it is. I'm just about at 1.5 cups. Put in a little bit more to be there. And you'll see where you're at. I have my spatula. We have our 1.5 cups of tomato basil pasta sauce, and you can dump it right into the bowl with your veggies. Once the sauce is in, go ahead and carefully stir so your veggies and your sauce all come together. And there you have it. Our sauce is all done and ready to go. Now that our pasta is done cooking, we've put it into a large bowl. You want to have lots of room. And we've taken our grated Parmesan cheese. So because we're doing 3/4 cup of grated Parmesan cheese, I have my 1/4 cup. So this is a bit of a math lesson. If you do 3 1/4 cups, that will get you to 3/4 cups. So we'll start with 1. 2 and 3. Then what you'll do is grab some tongs or whatever you have in your kitchen and toss it together until your noodles, your pasta are nice and coated with that Parmesan. That's what's going to help our little cups stick together when they cook. The cheese melts a little bit and sticks the noodles to each other. And your noodles are ready to go. So it's been about 16 to 20 minutes and our meatballs are all ready to go here. So we took out our muffin tin and I have olive oil cooking spray to spray each of our tins so that our noodles don't stick. And we are all set to start putting it together. Taking our tongs again, we will grab pasta. If that's what's going to make up the nest at the bottom. So grab up a good sized chunk and go ahead and nestle it in there. And then you will go ahead and grab about a tablespoon of your sauce. Put that right on in. And then we have 1 meatball to go in there. And I like to top it with just a little bit more sauce. And that one is ready to go. So you continue with those same steps, your pasta, sauce, meatball, sauce, until you've filled all of your muffin tins. Now that our tin is all full, I will take our grated Parmesan once again and sprinkle a little bit more over top before I put it in the oven. And you're ready to go. So I kept the oven running that whole time, still at 375. That will go for 20-25 minutes until everything is heated through and is sticking together. So you can go ahead and pop that in the oven. With our first tray in the oven, you can go ahead and either put together a second muffin tin, or you can wait until that one's done and do the whole process here over again to have another tray with your extra pasta and sauce and meatballs. So we can't have a whole dinner without dessert. We are gonna make a frozen yogurt pie. For this one, we're gonna use mixed berry yogurt, and then it would be fun to put in some diced up strawberries, but you can use really any fruit or any zero added sugar yogurt that you want to use. And I prefer to use Greek for these yogurt pies as well. Let's get started by washing our strawberries just like we did our produce for our spaghetti and meatball cups. We can go ahead and wash it right in this container and head over to the sink to do that. Now that they are washed, we can go ahead and start dicing them up. I like to start with cutting off the green top, again keeping our fingers away in a claw grip. And what that does is it gives us a nice flat surface to rest it on while we do the rest of our cutting. So you can cut in strips. And then we're dicing. So cut again. Turn, and we're gonna end up with little cubes. So same idea. They don't have to be too small. They can be as big or small as you want, and you can go ahead and put that into the bowl when you are done cutting them into squares. And keep going just like that until your strawberries are cut up and ready to go. Our strawberries are cut up and ready to go, so let's start adding ingredients to the bowl. First, we have our light whipped topping. We're gonna put half of that in there. So I like to just put a line kind of down half so I know, and just go ahead and scoop out one side of it. And it's okay if it's not super precise, but you get the gist. And then we will go ahead with our Greek yogurt. We have 3 of our little 1 cup servings here. And you can put that whole thing in of all 3. Next, we will put our vanilla. So we do 2 teaspoons of vanilla using our measure. And there we go. And last but not least, we have chocolate chips. We are going to do a ½ cup. So you can go ahead and fill up your measure. And dump it in. Now the fun part is to stir it all together. And your pie filling is all done. We have our pie crust unwrapped and ready to go. I like to hold on to this top because it's really handy for when you put it in the freezer. You can easily cover it and keep that top from being squished. Our next step, we will take the filling we just combined and put it into the pie crust. Go ahead and smooth it out as it goes in, spread it around. Fill up that crust. And a special Valentine's Day touch, you can go ahead and put some pink, is what I have, sprinkles over top to make it nice and festive for your Valentine's Day dinner. And that's all it takes. You can cover it up and pop it in the freezer until it is frozen through. Cut it up just like a pie and enjoy. Here we have our spaghetti and meatball cups right out of the oven. You can set them aside to cool off and then use a spoon to simply wiggle it out of there. It comes out pretty easily and you end up just like that, which is just delicious, cute little portions. We also pulled out here a salad kit. Is super great, super easy way to add some veggies and really complete your meal. And of course for dessert, out of the freezer, we have our frozen yogurt pie is frozen solid. So we have our cover on. We simply move away our foil edge. And there she is, ready to cut and eat for dessert. We love seeing photos of all your little chefs out there, so make sure you tag us in your photos on social media so we can see, and don't forget to fill out our survey as well to give us any feedback that you might have on our classes. And we can't wait to see you next time.